Okay, so a lot of you guys, have Christmas every year, and one of the fun parts of Christmas was always like building the new toys that we got. Um, so my dad is kind of the person that will like jump right into a project and doesn't look at the directions at all, just like assumes he knows how to make it and goes. And my mom is the one who will read all the instructions, every word in every language, pretty much, and like make sure that my dad's doing everything right. Sometimes, actually probably most of the time, my dad ends up getting something wrong or messing up and breaking it or something. And so my mom will have to come in and save the day with her directions. And so my lesson is to always follow the directions the first time. Like read them all the way through. So many of you may or may not know that I really like to cook. I love food. And I have had several interesting experiences with food and cooking because my mom is a super, super good cook. And I have always aspired to be like her, but I'm probably never going to be because she's that good. But I've had a lot of mishaps in cooking. Several of them involve, actually probably most of them involve not following directions the right way. A couple of times I have made pasta and I don't follow directions all the way because it's this special kind of pasta. It's gluten-free, and so if you overcook it, it turns into this mush. It looks like baby food. And I was making spaghetti for my family once, and I overcooked it because I wasn't paying attention to it, and then it turned into mush, and my mom had to come fix it for me. Another time I was making hot chocolate, the good hot chocolate on the stove with actual chocolate and milk and not from a box or anything. And I turned my back for 2 seconds. It seemed like it was probably a lot longer than that, but and it boiled over all over the stove. And our stove was just new and it was really expensive and my mom was really mad. It wasn't very good. So those are some lessons that I learned from that. Plus I've had several lessons in actually reading the right instructions. Because one time I was making cookies and the instructions said to put in baking soda, and I thought it said baking powder, which they're kind of confusing, they look the same. And so I put in the baking powder instead of the baking soda, and let's just say we didn't eat those cookies. They were nasty. One of the main things that I've done though, I was with my grandma, and we were making rhubarb pie. And she went out to go cut the rhubarb, and before she left, she told me how to make the pie crust. It's this really easy recipe that you actually, you don't have to mix it up, you just make it in the pie pan, so you don't dirty a lot of dishes. And so she got out all the ingredients for me and told me, 4 of these, whatever, 2 of these, 1 of these, and just rattled it off, and then went outside to go cut a rhubarb. So I was like, okay, I got this. And so I start mixing it up, and I'm like, this is really watery. Why is this like this? And she comes back in, and she's like, how's it going? I was like, I think it's okay. I don't really know. I don't know what it's supposed to look like. And so long story short, it was not how it was supposed to be. So my grandma, who is really good at improvising and substituting things in food, she just added a bunch of dry ingredients, so instead of having 1 rhubarb pie, we had 3 rhubarb pies, which it turned out being okay because I really like rhubarb pie, and so does my dad, and so we just got to take some home, so whatever. But the lesson I learned is to always read the directions, always, always, always. Probably even reread it several times as you're going through everything. But reading the directions doesn't just apply to cooking. It can apply in school, when you're doing your homework, always read the directions, because I've had several things where I totally messed it up because I read the directions wrong. And missed a couple points here and there. But it could become as serious as in the military, if you don't follow directions, that's like a life or death situation, you know, it's like a range of different things that, and it's just like the rule of life, you need to follow directions, because normally they know what they're talking about. So, yeah, follow the directions, and so then, later on, maybe you won't have such problems fixing your toys at Christmas or such.